yourself, respect him as a human being, so that he can move on, you can move on, but you meet somewhere as human beings helping each other.
That's true.
Don't you suggest he would also probably need therapy? He
Yeah.
would also need spiritual upliftment. He would need a word
Yeah.
from a pastor, from an apostle, from a churchmate. Don't you think he would also
Mhm.
need somewhere where he can empty out a group
Yeah.
varume? And you also need association where you can, like you are
Yeah.
doing, where you can empty up or empty out and have therapy. You also need therapy so that you move on.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Usazoite ngura uchaita hasha, ukaita hasha
Pamwe ndokuri kubva anger issues.
wakaguma rini
Unobona
o-
ndakutaura nini?
wakaguma rini usandipindure hako wakaguma rini motikari ikasasevhiswa inoita misfire kainoputika putika
Okay, I
eh.
will tell you something very intimate about myself. Person. Very
Okay.
spiritual.
All right.
Very spiritual. The way I relate to humans is totally different from the way a normal person relates to humans. Because ndiri kunzwisisa zviri mukati memunhu handiti ndinzwisisa zviri mukati memunhu it's not always that I can help. Sometimes I have to give them to some people who could reshare, therapists and things like that. Because I know as per munhu wenyama hapana pachasvika pandasvika apa iye akazvarwa nezuro ndizvo
Yeah.
Yes,
anodawo
yes.
zvaanonzwisisa zvokuti akaexplainerwa nemunhu ari kutarisa situation yake from perspective yemunhu wenyama anozvinzwisisa. Ini ndakazouya hwangu ndotaura nyaya dzemweya anozozvinzwisisa hake but anongoti vanhu ava yeah ndozvavanongoita
Yeah.
you know
So I'll just, we've come to sort of like, we now need to conclude, but I want to reiterate what Rev said. I love what, and you have already taken a stance towards that, which is to just get to know yourself, to get to love yourself, to just get to take care of yourself. And I love that for you. And I also love the fact that you are very compassionate and you help out. But that gets us to the second point, which Rev said, you have to have boundaries. So you need to know what you can give and what you have to also, protect. And
Yes, that's
especially
right.
when you recognize that you are very compassionate, you are humane, you love to take care of people, you also need to protect because remember, you have to have in order to give.
Yes, yes.
The worst,
Yes, that's very true.
yes,
That's
the worst place to then be in is to then take up someone else's burdens, which means maybe then thinking
empty
about.
from an empty cup. Yes.
Yes, thinking, and sometimes when we're helping people, we might even compromise ourselves to an extent that we even take up other people's debts and stuff like that. No, you also need to just
Yes.
create
Yes.
boundaries around yourself to know exactly what you can part with and to not part with what you don't have so that you don't compromise your own self. And that comes from knowing
That's very
yourself
true.
and what you want and to knowing what are the extras in my life. Do I have extra time to extend? Do I have extra finances
Yes.
to extend, right? But then guess what? You also need to protect yourself from what we call leakages, kubvinza, You protect your mental health, you protect your finances, you protect your own relationships because you also have to have a social life. Now every time kana wakagara pa hospital wakamirira munhu then wakuti mafriends hauchakwanisi kuenda because there is this place that you're pouring into. You want to be able to then have a boundary and balance so that you support, but you also thrive yourself. You have a pleasant experience yourself of life. And your life does not go on hold. Zvatarana rev. Life is kufana kumira,
Yeah, that's
iri kufana kukontinue. And also part of coming up with the boundary is knowing that you might find someone that you like. Now, when you find someone that you like and you have not formally broken this relationship off, and you have not done the due diligence to make sure that there are clear boundaries within this relationship, someone is going to feel like you're cheating on
Yeah.
them because you have not properly and
Yeah.
formally
Yeah.
communicated where you are.
Yeah.
So now you need to start creating a structure that helps you, if that feed your own goals,
Yes.
that support your own goals, that will not turn back to harm you
Yes.
because you were trying to help out someone. So you want to be really clear about your boundaries. And then the last thing I'll also re-emphasize is that when you know what you want and you know your boundaries, it doesn't really matter what someone else thinks or whether they buy into that. You do the best that you can to explain and to communicate in a very soft way. And like what Rev said, you continue to give that agape love, but it has to be out there, it has to be communicated, and it doesn't really matter if it's going to be accepted because that's on that other person. But you continue to show up when you need to show up. It doesn't mean that when they don't accept it, then you stop doing what you are doing. No, you just continue so that at least if they don't get your words, they get it from your own actions and your own behaviors, because
Yeah.
behavior is language as well. So you just need to
Yeah, that's
complement that to say it with your words. If you with your actions, if they don't get the words that you're actually trying to say. And also, please, when you sit down with yourself and you are really clear about what's going on, you are able to then communicate it well to the other person so that they also understand the
yeah.
background. But don't try to
Where you're
justify too
coming from.
much. Don't try to justify too much, you know, because you know your truth and you speak your truth. And it's up to them to believe you when you then
Yeah,
tell
that's
them what you're going through. So I wish you all the best. Please do get in touch with us. Tell us how it went. If you need any further support, do let us know. And also, please, if you need any mental health support, just reach out to the person you were talking to on that number. You just tell them, look, can you link me up with a counselor? Can you link me up with whatever support that you need? They'll do the best that they can to link you up with different types of support that you might need. Like what Rev said, you can still get them support instead of being the 100% support. You can also
the
facilitate
support.
to
That's true.
surround them with the support that they need. How does that sound?
That's beautiful. That's amazing. Thank you so much, you guys, for listening. These are not issues you can just parade and tell people. So thank you for just being there.
All right, awesome. Enjoy the rest of your day.
I'll try to do that and enjoy the rest of the day. Thank you, Reverend, and the other guy. I didn't hear their name. Have a good day.
Okay, awesome.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you. Awesome. Bye.
All right, we'll take a short break and we'll come back after this short break. All right, so our next issue, this was a message that was sent to us. So I started dating this guy November 2023. Quite a good person. It was a good relationship. November 24, I discovered he had been cheating. I think this one is the one that we were doing, isn't it? Yeah, this is the one that we're doing. Okay, let me move on to the next one. Okay, so I started dating this guy. No, this is the same one. What's happening here? All right. This one says, I have stressed quite lately. I had raw sex with my girlfriend. Then after she told me that she was safe. But after then, as an overthinking person, I started to think, what if she was lying to me? I then tested myself several times as follows. I came negative at 104 days, 140 days, and 148. Also at 168 days on 6 March. Also tested at 22 March, which is 183 days, came negative, and also came negative at New Start on 27 March, which is 190 days. 7 months, I did a lab test from a clinic. 31 May self-test kit, which is 8 months and 12 days. But my mind is failing to believe these results. What can I do to gain belief in myself again? Reverend, what do you think?
Thank you so much for sharing. It shows a sign of maturity. It shows a sign of self-respect. It also shows a sign of responsibility. However, I think there is now an element of mistrust between him and the girl, and also there are some signs of elements of low self-esteem, where he is not believing in himself, where he made a decision in the first place to have unprotected sex and realized later, but after all these tests is still negative and still not trusting the results. I think our friend, our brother needs therapy, where he will need probably to share more background about himself. Is it the first time he had sex? Or he had sex before? What is the experience? Or he has relatives who have been infected before, or his parents were affected by HIV, or some other very close relatives, to the extent that HIV becomes a phobia to him. It is now a phobia. It is now a threat to him, because instead of seeing the results, his own results, he's seeing the past experiences. He's seeing the past pain of his relatives. He's seeing graves of his relatives. And I think he needs, probably needs therapy, where he opens up and where he gives his background, his history, and where his fears are coming from. That would be my uptake, yes.
Yes. And I concur with you, Rev, because there is need to separate facts from fiction. There is a story that you're telling yourself, and then there are facts. So what are the facts when it comes to HIV and testing and the window periods?
Yes, yes.
You know, we've got different types of
And
tests.
it's scientific.
Yes, it's scientific. We have different types of tests in the market, and we have those tests where you get a lab test done. It can be able to detect HIV and AIDS between a period of 10 to 33 days.
Yes.
Right? Then we've got the other kits where you can be able to detect between I think 18 to 45 days.
Yes,
They can be able to correctly check whether you have
scientifically
right. Then I think the self-test kits, the ones that are there on the market, the common ones, they normally start being testing correctly between 10 to 90 days. In fact, 90 days is the maximum window periods for the normal everyday tests that we interact with. So that's your window period. But now you've been testing 163 days. In the past,
190 days.
190 days. In the past, it used to be 6 months, right? But now it's 7 months, and you are still obsessed about this. So scientifically, the tests are telling you something. They're telling you the facts of the situation.
But your mind is
But then your mind
something.
is denying it. So you need to understand that whatever now your mind is telling you, these are things that you're creating in your own mind. These fears exist in your mind. You are actually suffering what your mind is creating. You're suffering your own imagination. And exactly what Rev said, this could be coming from your past experience, what you have seen, what you have interacted, what you have heard about HIV and AIDS. But look, let's also talk about effect around that. If you do get tested and you do get HIV positive, you are empowered to actually turn things around for yourself, because now you can actually start taking in medication, isn't it? Which is an empowering factor that you need to consider. So sit down and review the facts. The facts, the window period is passed, depending with the test you took. The window period is passed, you're okay. Right? And even if you are not okay, and at some point, maybe after a year, you do become, by some scientific mistake or whatever could have happened, right? You do become HIV positive, you'll still be okay.
That is not the end of life.
That is not the end of your life. You'll still be okay. You can still have a vibrant and pleasant experience of life, even if you are HIV positive. So really, whatever outcome comes from this situation, you're still okay. So you need to just understand the facts and be at peace with the facts that are actually there, either or. But it's important to also, because if you keep on living in denial, you do not give yourself power to actually create the life that you want. Going forward, given this incident that has happened, what does that mean to you right now? Because with stress, you can also make the next horrible mistake. Because you are stressed, you're going to act impulsively, and who knows, tomorrow you repeat the same mistake. Because you're not thinking clearly, you're not thinking from a position of power. So now it's important to say, look, I know the facts, and these are the facts. I'm okay, and I will be okay, whatever the outcome, right? But what is it that I want, knowing that now all of the tests have tested negatively? What can I do about my life going forward? What decisions do I need to make? Because it clearly, this was a risky move that you did. And wa risk, clearly waka risk, right? So, but knowing Jaitika and the level of stress and anxiety that you've gone through, you need to know what I wish you can say ku riska ndoke vanhu vane hana dzakanyanya kusimba, and if it affects you so much, you now need to come to terms with yourself. Talk to yourself about the situation. What is it that we're going to do going forward to just ensure that this doesn't happen again? And I think that's where you get your power and your confidence. And therapy as well, you will benefit a lot from just going for therapy, because that gift of imagination that's going wild will kill you, because that's anxiety. It's like a mechanism that is within you that's working against you, and therapy will be able to help with that.
There's a lot of adrenaline coming out of his brain, and he needs therapy. He really needs therapy. And I wonder, on a lighter note, is he afraid of HIV, or he's afraid of having sex?
Oh, he's afraid of dying.
All right. He doesn't want to enjoy sex anymore?
I'm not so sure.
Okay. So one of the two things. But he needs to move on. Yes, he needs to move on. He needs to get therapy. He needs support. He needs to be shown irima arina arina mapere, so they say it's only dark. There are no animals in the darkness. Yeah. So he has to move on, seek assistance, and seek therapy. There's something in his brain which he needs, in his mind, which he needs to empty out and move on.
And also, it could be coming from the relationship itself, the way he sees this woman as well. Because somehow, somewhere, he
Yes,
finds it
that's a
very
fact,
difficult
yeah.
to believe that he's not infected, because he might be thinking that she is infected. And so she is wondering, like, why did I come out positive?
Yes,
Because
yes.
he thinks
That's stereotyping. That's stereotyping.
it could be. We don't know.
Stereotyping.
I would have loved to have spoken to you directly, but we'll go on to the next question.
But thank you for sharing, and we really appreciate your reaching out to us. And we encourage that you find a therapist, you find a counselor, you find a psychologist where you can open up and unravel the hidden things of your life, your fears about HIV. Asi usarekere kuita zviro ngazviitwe nekuti zvinoitwa nevanhu vapenyu. Zvinoda kuitwa. Thank you so much.
All right. So this one says, but on that note, Rev, we also want to talk about, just people taking care of themselves and being very responsible, because some of these acts, then they come from just approaching sex as a must do. Then we then don't do it
Or
properly.
maybe on another note, maybe our brother had sex. He didn't probably say the type of a person he had sex with. It could be a commercial sex worker. It could be a touchline professional prostitute.
So maybe
And
that's why, that's where the fear is coming.
Yes. And so he says, no, I picked this person kwa Jongwe, and how can science then say she is negative? And because of the background, so he needs a strong support system and to get therapy to go over it. Yeah.
Okay. And then this one says, I have stress. My husband started cheating. We have 3 boys. He no longer supports the kids. Ndaimboshanda ndichitengesa long back mabero. So ndaikwereta zvimbadzo zvaisabuda zvakanaka. Saka ndikaita depression, ndikaita high blood pressure, ndikapiwa mapills. Aita $35 every month. Ndakabva ndasiya ndisingakwanisi kuafoda. Apa yakabva yauya zvine simba iyo BP. Nekufunga kuti life ndoitei, mari chaiyo iri kunetsa. Anongobuda mumba, haasiyi kana $1 zvaro. Nyama dzacho dzakurwadza, especially makumbo. Yeah, so that's our caller right there.
Thank you for sharing, Kola, and for opening up. But there are some other terms which are difficult to define, to accept before scientific proof. How did she come to know she had depression? Did she explain? There was a therapist who diagnosed her.
Saka ndikaita depression, ndikaita high blood pressure, ndikapiwa mapills, aita $35. I guess she actually went to seek help because akapiwa mapills, so that's a prescription, right?
Yes, I mean, is it the prescription of depression or the prescription of high blood pressure?
High blood
So we have to be very ascertained on which.
think.
Yes. So giving the benefit of doubt, let us assume these tablets are for
The BP.
the BP. Let us give an
They're
assumption.
$35.
Yes, I'm not so sure of the cost. I'm not so sure of the prescription. Let us view one thing at a time. Let us start with the mental disorder,
Depression.
Yes. What is our caller saying about depression? She is saying the cause of depression is marital issues.
Marital issues and financial issues because of the marital issues. Jimbadzo.
Yes. So there's financial, there is abuse, there is psychological
Financial
abuse, there's financial abuse, there's verbal abuse, there's neglect. So just to sum up the causes of depression, all right. And in all these, our caller is not sharing her part in response of the the causes of depression.
Okay.
What did she contribute? Either for men normally, Regina, men normally respond to psychological torture through emotional response.
Okay.
So murume murume chaiye akarwadziswa in a vernacular language, akarwadziswa vazhinji havagoni kurova asi anoreacta.
How?
Ukamunyima zvinhu zvaakabvisira mombe haanetsani newe, anondokusiya oenda. Ukamutuka anongo hakupinduri, anongokunyima mari. Ukasachengeta nzvadzi yake kana mai wake haanetsani newe, anokunyima mari kana kuti anobvapo. Ukasamuwachira kana kuti akakuti hauna kuaina zvakanaka ukaita nharo, haanetsani newe, anoresponda. Men are reactional.
Okay.
They react to a certain behavior which has been persisted by a spouse. So our caller did not tell us, did not give us the background. Did they fight?
Okay.
Did they exchange words?
Ko akuna here men vanongotadza kunzi anenge achitopiwa love zvese zviripo, but they just decide on their own kuti haana kugutsikana kana angosangana nemunhu muroad, because she says, I have stressed my husband started cheating on me. But I understand exactly what you're saying, because kuona kwaona kunze koko pane zvashota, maybe, I don't know, but munhu asingagutsikani hakuna here, varume vasingagutsikani kuti mumba chaivo mukadzi aripo prayerful, loving, soft, kind, zvese ari kupiwa, but wabuda panze apa ongobhaizwa nemaziso.
Izvozvo zviri kind.
No, I'm just saying kuti mukadzi ari all that, then murume wobuda panze nekusagutsikana.
Ngatidai so, Regina, titi masikirwo emurume nemasikirwo emudzimai, to simplify psychology, akasiyana.
Okay.
Murume pachimanyika ndibambo, chirombo, saka chinzi panyama chirombowe, chirombo. Mudzimai ndishewe. Saka vaviri ava havana kudini, havana kufanana. Men love through seeing, women love through touch. So one vaviri vakadini. Our caller is not telling us the source of the conflict.
Okay.
There should be a source. There must be a source for every conflict.
Zvakatanga rini,
yes.
Or even to say, all of a sudden, tangatetoribo, but suddenly, something happened.
Yes.
I was surprised.
So we want now to come to the root cause, so that we can be able to help. A story is said of a farmer who had cows, all right? I'll say it in vernacular language. Aiva nemombe, saka mombe idzi dzaivharwa mudanga. Vanhu vaingouya, mombe dzenyu dzadya mumunda medu. Mombe, but wotema, wouraya. But there was this cow, this bull, yaisabuda mudanga, yaingoramba irimo ine nyanga dzayo, yainzi Mr. Nice. Saka munhu akazoti ngatimborare takatarisa kuti chii chinoitika. Saka kwati zii vanhu varara, Mr. Nice kwabva atanga tunga dzimwe mombe. yabva yaona kuti pano pari kutungwa ibva yajamba ichibva yaende tunge imwe iyo ichibva yasara iripi. Saka dzatungwa dziya dzainodya chii? Minda yevanhu. Vanhu vachibva vachichiti saka dambudziko harisi pane dzimwe mombe, dambudziko riri pane Mr. Nice ndiye ari kutunga dzimwe. Kwana wedu hasi kutitaurira kuti ndimatunge here kana kuti ndiye akatunga dzimwe kuti dzijambe dzibude. Saka hapana kudi ipopa, hapana kujeka. Now, because hapana kujeka, zvingashata kuti tite assumptions. We shouldn't work on assumptions.
But tiri papo Rev, munhu haasi mombe to. Zvekuti kunodya munda, akunodyire munda.
Atungwa.
Ayo.
Atungwa mudanga amaiwe. Atungwa nemazwi. Atungwa nemazwi. Atungwa nekuti munhu abvirotora gumbezi rake akazvimonera mugumbezi akati usandibate ndisiyana neni uri mbwe. Andiri kuona atungwa. Munhu atungwa nekuti anzi hauna kundigadzirisa musoro. Nekuti hauna kundigadzirisa musoro handibiki. Saka vabati okay, chekubika chiripo. Saka chingaite nemanje ndechekuti ngapashayikwe chekubika. Tione kuti ushade atungwa. Akadini?
So, retaliation.
Yes. So we must establish the cause of all these behaviors and deal with the causes. All right. What is the cause or source of conflict? Because BP is a sign of what has happened in the brain. All right. What has happened in life. So these are responsive diseases of what has happened in the mind of a person. So it is difficult now to say, how can we help when we don't know the
No, but then, to be honest with you, Rev, I think nyayedu inogona kutongo yakatokwana. Why? Because without knowing exactly what led him to cheat, and I don't think we need to know what leads someone to cheat. When someone cheats, that's an immature way of responding to a situation. In fact, it is because that's a manifestation of lack of integrity on the part of the individual. Now, when we're looking at cheating, it's just like stealing. Kuti tingati mwana wenyu Rev abva kumba mamunyima chikafu ono bank shop. Tingazotsanangura mapurisa kuti ayo tirufanira kutanga tanzwisisa kuti sei azoba, which is fine, like long term. Isusu sema psychologist kana takudhila ne situation. But mhosva yetu ita sei yatoparwa. So to an extent, she is suffering the consequences of mhosva yeta say yaparwa. Now, because mhosva yedu yaparwa and this is happening, I understand that when we are now healing the marriage, we're just talking about just healing the marriage. At one is healing the marriage without knowing why the husband is cheating, because it behavior is and I respect that in terms of actually problem solving. But if someone is looking at their life, they're just thinking of tadziro. Just like mpurisa anzi mbava yote ebata. Asuzoti munato mbova kupi ambova kumba sina chajika. But now atongo shik and chandru kona imbava. But andis kona mwana abirwa, in the background. And I love that because it also speaks to an element that says she also needs to have a bit of compassion to understand and to try to seek understanding to actually solve the cheating issue. Both tika solve a cheating issue to solve mama problems. But in the meantime, Tom Batsira say, because you are subject, muna, are subject to this behavior. They are now suffering the consequences of whatever it is. Should quit come background,
Marriage consists of two people to come to, in terms of our discussion.
Yeah.
I think the first thing is they should find each other. The first port of call is to sit down. Remember, for any relationship to be effective, there should be 4 sources. So, if one of the sources is not there, then there's conflict. If there's no communication, if there's communication, it's okay. If communication lacks, then it's a source of conflict. If reciprocity is there, then people can reciprocate. They can discuss the good and the bad. But if reciprocity lacks, then communication has lacked. No one then appreciates the other. Apana chaitra mwe birthday, apana mwe chaitra Valentine's Day. If attractiveness is eminent in any relationship, it covers everything else, every other weaknesses. But if there is no more attraction in the relationship, it is a cause of conflict. If people stop to be close to each other, if there is no proximity, if there is proximity, people don't want to miss each other for a long time. You see, I've just received a call ndiri pano apa nokuti chimwe changu chiri kundifunga ininiwo ndiri kudini ndiri kumufunga. So if there is no proximity, then it is another source of conflict. So they should find each other in these 4 basics of love. What is missing? Chi chandakamudira ex wangu uyu kana kuti y wangu uyu. Are these 4 things still there? If one of them is missing, we can go back to the drawing board and say, I love you. Let us find each other. So they should find each other before they go out to seek help. So they should find each other. Secondly, they should learn. I'm not so sure if they had premarital counseling before they got into marriage. I'm not so sure how they communicated. They should also avoid external forces to enter into their marriage. Kana tete akapinda mukadzi wako agezi murume wako anohura tazomona kwakati tikamudini. If they allow that, then it is also a source of conflict. So they should find each other first. Discuss their differences. Iron out their differences. Maybe they will find out that apana nenyaya iripo. Inyaya dzekuti ndakazwa tete akanditi, ndakazwa uyu akanditi. They should find one another. And when they find one another, they should probably learn to forgive. Forgiveness is therapeutic. So they discuss, they forgive each other, they move forward. It's difficult for them to forget, but they forgive each other, they find each other, they start all over.
Yeah. And so I'll also just add that given what Rev has said in terms of like reconciliation with your husband, try to engage your husband and try to work it out. Find a therapist, find someone to sit down with. But like what he said, first place, you need to come together. The 2 of you are the ones that are going to talk about what it is that you want to achieve out of this marriage. Then you engage support together, right? I will just add that as we are waiting and facilitating for this to happen, it's important that we start taking care of ourselves jealously. So my periods at $35 aya zvakatokosha. This is our life now. We're not talking about our life because this is high blood pressure, and if we don't take our medication and we have high blood pressure, what happens is that the next thing, tighter stroke. Left side arichashandi. Now tanga tichitotadza kuwana $1 or $35 tine maoko ari kushanda tichikwanisa kufamba kokuzoti tastroke one side, right? So you need to understand that it is very important now that you utilize everything that you have. Maoko aya anofanira kutoshanda kuisa musika parodhi, kukuya dovi kunohodha nzungu kumbare, tanga nzungu kwakukuya dovi kwakuisa chikwangwani pagedhi kuti dovi for sale $1. mazai chaiwo, kuhodha mazai, kuita huku dzemazai, whatever you can
Kana
do.
airtime.
As well, kuisa chikwangwani che-airtime, kunomira murodhi nedhishi remadomasi. Une airtime yako pakona apa, maputa apa, machips apa, mazape. Masamusa kana uchikwanisa kugadzira kana masamusa whatever you can do, kuhodha madomasi, mabanana, anything that can give you money, so that number one, you take care of yourself, because you can't even start thinking about the kids when your health is compromised, because you are at risk of then escalating that situation into something even worse off, that will be very difficult for you to manage.
Yes.
And considering that he's cheating, we are hoping that there will be that reconciliation, but if not, it means you will one day be on your own, and you will need to stand on your 2 feet, and you cannot afford to have a stroke or anything that is coming from this space. So you might want to engage maybe with someone, a counselor, to deal with this depression, stress-ish.
Or of the family structure.
The family system as well. Do you have someone who you trust, someone who is mature, who can be able to keep whatever information that you're going to give them in their hearts? Because some of the information take up futhi ku family, unonzwa mkwasha avengwa paipe panozoita reconciliation, vabereka vachotoda kumuona mkwasha because anga achichita. So it depends with what you decide for yourself as well. Think about yourself and your livelihood and say, look, whilst we are trying to navigate this, my husband, what is it that I can do to take care of myself? Who can I also talk to? Who can help me with guidance, with advice? Kuti ningaje say mfundisi, if they are very mature, my mfundisi kuchechi tete, whoever is mature and it can be trusted. You can talk to that person and get help. And get help in terms of just dealing with the stress, so that you gear yourself up for bindao kochairo rinonza dollar mumba ubatanidze $35 yekutenga mapirits every month, because they are going to cost more if you don't take them now. You have to take mapirits depression yacho ine mapirits anxiety yacho kuti mangwana zvichazofamba sei ineni mapirits if you don't manage most of these things now, zvese zvinozongonoda mapirits kumberi, and those pills can be very expensive, and they will just eat up on whatever effort you're trying to create, right? And then chimbadzo as well.
Yes.
Kuchimbadzo kunobvisa financial well-being chaiyo. Financial well-being zvitori better kunokumbira hupfu pa next door pane kupinda muchimbadzo. Because chimbadzo now, because of the interest, depending on how flexible chimbadzo, kana chichikwanisa kuramba chiri pa interest same zviri nani. But chimbadzo chemazuvano chatinoziva ndechoti next month inogwa kunzi
double
times the interest ye total unenge une chimbadzo $100. And then zvinezvinzi 10% interest or 20% interest. It means panopera mwedzi unobhadhira 120 pound. And then ukajamba mwedzi iwoyo, it's percentage 20% of 120 plus the interest. Then interest ye following month plus iyoyo chikwere chacho chikuramba chisase
chikura
chinomultiply zvekuti unopedzisira kungoshandira chimbadzo chete. So you want to think about, tread carefully, walk very slowly, make decisions soundly, so that you understand and you evaluate the long-term consequences of every action that you make. Kuitira kuti usarambe uchibvinza, you start leaking in terms of your mental health, financial health, and before you know it, you're now worse off. So start protecting what you have. Kana chiri chimbadzo kutono negotiate kuti ndokumbira kuti chichimira tinyorane pasi kuti chichawedzera chimire ipapo, then inicheta plan yakati kuti ndidzosere chimbadzo. But first of all, munhu anodzosera chimbadzo is you. You have to be healthy first. So high blood pressure medication ngaitengwe, right? So that you take care of yourself in order to then take care of everyone else. And you have to face up with whoever wakakwereta naye wotombonegotiate kuti wedwe, this is the situation. Azvina kutombomira mushanda kana mapiritsi eBP, and everything is getting worse and worse. Right? So that's my advice to you. And then just engage with your husband, continue to pray, continue to also evaluate yourself, like what Rev said. Men are reactional, and that's a good lesson to learn, Rev. I think you should just then summarize more on that. And some men are very reactional, And so if they are reactional, haasi kutaura. Handizvonzi varume havatauri. Hanzi but vanocommunicata nebehavior and language. Behavior is language to them. Haasi kudzosera kuti wandimudhurira why, but iye ari kuenda ne$25 yechikafu, $2 yechikafu yanga ifanira kusiya yechingwa. Ari kubuda nayo. As a reaction to whatever behavior. So just also do some self-introspection. Say, okay, fine, what is it within this environment that I could have been also contributing to? And you remove some of those things so that munhu mupfungwa dzake ashaye chipomerwa. Chekuti apomere kuti munhu uyu because zvimwe zvinhu zviri spiritual, Satan, the devil came to steal, kill and destroy. So the moment you give someone ammunition to justify in their brain to mistreat you, then tatowedzera situation. So just also do your own evaluation and pray that God helps you to work on yourself and to also work on your health and your well-being. So that by the time panozocheuka kudai so anoti yezvo ndanichitsvagei kunzoko. Ndanchimbotsvagei kwandanga ndichienda, right? So maybe just summarize the reactional part, then we end the call.
Men as human beings or as the head of families normally don't want to feel or play second fiddle. They don't want to be despised. They don't want to be seen as destitute or some people who beg. They think, look, akasabika sadza ndechipfiri nani kuti anoizi kuzosvika kutezvara nekupi 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 ndozotwa munhu akashata ndezvibviri nani nokazara saramgana natezvara uku ndonotenga sadza redhora. So I would rather keep peace here and go outside. Akaramba kubatwa chicha ndingaita, I can get sex anyway at any time.
Makambozvitere zviri.
Nandina. Asi ndiri psychologist. I can get sex anyway anytime. So kana asingadi andimudini ine andisandanyimwa andisati. Saka kana asingadi andingamanikidza andidini andidi. They are reactionary. Atukati anzvadzi yangu andidi kumubvunza ndichiyera ndikamubvunza nyaya yacho haidini haiperi ndikamubvunza futi achadzokera kuno tuka tete wangu futi kuti wazomangara ukadii. Saka hazvidini hazvindinetsi. Let me look for someone who will respect my sister. So they are reactionary. So up until you sit down with him, understand him, let him open up and say, I'm human, I err. Maybe pane pandakakudini pandakakukanganisira. Try to find ways. He will open up and say, this other day you did this, I kept quiet. The other day you did this, I kept quiet. So I thought, the other day I spoke to you, and this is how you answered me. The other time I spoke to you, this is how you answered me. So I ended up not speaking. That's why you see, when I come to nobody zaketa undega ndobika ndega tea, because in the wakandiudza kuti waneta. They are reactionary. This is the aspect where most women feel the pain and pinch, because women quickly forget, because women use the frontal part more than the iceberg. So it is also important that women, ladies, understand how men think. I don't know, my kitchen part kunotaurwei, but I think these are the topics which we need to address to church women, ladies want to marry, so that they understand how men act and react and think. Yes. So one small thing to a lady is quickly forgotten. Yes, but a man says, okay, if she answers me like this, pamberi peshamwari dzake anotaurei ndisiko. So what next? And do wanna shamwari zakupanapa. But he chases away my friends. So they don't give all the information, they keep one card to themselves. Yes. So men are reactionary. Thank you so much. So I hope our caller will also seek to understand men's behaviors. I call them men's hidden behaviors. You travel with a man from here to Marondera, right? From here to Marondera. He's quiet, he's on his phone, he's not saying anything, right? You travel with a lady from here to Masasa Park. You know her name, how many children she has, where she's staying, what car her husband is driving. Yes. And by the time you reach there, she's asking you, are you married? How many children do you have? And you say, no, I'm not married. No. You can't be single like this. So you know everything. So if women knew how men think, and by the time he reaches Jaga's Masasa, he's tired. Oh my God. Achaburukarini mzimayo. And then they say, okay, chari kuda uyu, pane chari kushaya. Beta ndingompe chari kudini, chari kushaya. Andimudi. But andiudza chari kudii, chari kushaya. Rega ndingomudini, ndingompe. Chii chari kushaya? Ari kushaya munhu anotaura naye pafoni. Saka let me just flirt with her. I don't love her. No, I don't need her. I'm married. Let me just flirt with her and she is happy, she is smiling. Women should understand, our clients should understand how men think, how they behave, and how they value themselves and value the significant other. Who is a woman to a man? Is she someone equal to him? Is he someone under his authority? Is he someone who can live without him? Who is a woman to a man? Who is a man to a woman? You know, when you never make a mistake to say to a lady andichakudi. She will tell you, zviiti ndinonamatira imba yangu, she sleeps 24 hours praying for the house. But when a man decides to move, when a woman says andichakudi, the man just says that's okay. We need to understand each other in our behavioral patterns so that we avoid depression, we avoid heart attacks, we avoid clinging to someone who is HIV positive, and we remain there, and yet this one is able to move on. That will be my contribution.
All right, Majinzwira from Rev, that was our last question for the day. So we are going to end the episode now. If you are out there and you are not having a pleasant experience of life, please do not hesitate to reach out to us. Send us a voice note with your issue on 0779 888 375. And please bear with us. Be very patient. We'll get to you. We are kind of overwhelmed, but we are working very hard to ensure that everyone gets assisted, everyone gets a response, and we kind of work together and figure things out together so that we all start experiencing having a vibrant experience of life. All right, thank you so much, and see you again next week.
Thank you.
Me today.
Thank you so much, Regina. Thank you so much.
Tadzidzaka.
Raramai zvamadzidza.